80 years after they made history, the skies are still full of Hurricanes, Spitfires, Mustangs, and even Messerschmitts. But the plane flown by some of the Second World War's most heroic fighter pilots has vanished entirely.
These guys were the real thing and very, very angry.
They hated the Germans.
In 1940, a handful of Dutch airmen flying the tiny Fokker D.XXI shot down 105 of the Luftwaffe's most modern warplanes before the Netherlands was finally forced to surrender.
The Dutch aircrews that faced this onslaught were really the Dutch few. These were young men who weren't always completely trained.
But within months, many of those pilots were back in action, fleeing their country by air and sea to join one of the RAF's most unusual squadrons. A unit documented in this incredible colour footage.
Now it comes alive. Where was it all those years? This is incredible. Amazing.
Now one Dutch family is recreating the fighter that became a symbol of national resistance.
It was more or less a boy's dream, you can name it that.
So there's a lot of pride here. This is the only one in the world, and it's also 8 years worth of build, but a lot longer in the planning.
This is the extraordinary story of one family's dream to recreate the plane flown by Holland's forgotten few. A quest backed by today's Dutch Top Guns.
All players, select, impact, impact.
It would make me so proud just to see this flying. It's a piece of our history.
On the flat farmland of eastern Holland near the German border stands the small town of Hoogeveen.
Right magneto on, a little bit of gas.
Yep.
It's home to the Van Eggmands, a family that lives to fly.
It's hot here, but it's not climbing. It's not climbing weather for this aircraft.
There's Jack Sr.,
Oh, my wife is young, 75.
his wife Winnie,
74.
his son Jack Jr.,
At your side.
his wife Judith, and second son Hans, along with grandson Tom, all run a living museum dedicated to historic aviation. All are pilots.
We don't know anything else. It's aviation and aircraft.
Now the family are nearing the end of one of the most ambitious warplane restorations anywhere in the world.
Is the prop clear?
Prop clear.
Their mission to return a long-lost fighter to the skies for the first time in 70 years.
It's handling nice.
We keep history alive, and I think that is the most important purpose of this project.
The Fokker D.XXI is Holland's Spitfire, revered, a symbol of national pride and until now simply a heroic memory. It was on May the 10th, 1940, that German troops, supported by 850 warplanes, invaded the neutral Netherlands.
During the early hours, they heard a lot of engine noises going overhead. But everybody thought they're going to attack England. But the force of the German planes just turned around over the North Sea and then came back in full force and attacked a lot of airfields and tried to disable the Air Force within a single blow.
The reaction of the Dutch to this onslaught was really of pure shock and terror because the Dutch had had this historical policy of making sure that they stayed neutral. So they were really hoping they were going to be able to avoid any world wars.
Holland's tiny air force of just 145 planes included 31 fighters made by the Dutch plane maker Fokker.
I guess it's one Dutch fighter plane against 10 Germans.
The Germans came in with lots and lots and lots of aircraft. They overwhelmed. And were able in 3 days to shut down 105 of them.
The Fokker D.XXI was 100 miles an hour slower than Hitler's Messerschmitt Bf-109 fighters, as surviving pilots recalled 50 years after the battle.
Wij vonden de macht een mooi vliegtuig. Dat was bijzonder manoeuvrabel. Veel beter dan de Messerschmitt. Alleen in het kringgevecht. We konden in het kringgevecht binnen de Messerschmitts doordraaien.
The Dutch ended up actually staging a far more effective defence than the Luftwaffe was expecting. And of course, the Fokker D.XXI was particularly key to this. And so therefore, it really created this sense of terror for the Luftwaffe.
Yeah, they scattered a lot of planes, they damaged a lot of planes and shot down a lot of planes.
You realize a bullet can go straight through it. They were very, very brave, very brave.
Would we have 100 more of the Fokker D.XXIs, then it's going to be a totally different story.
Despite heroic resistance, after 5 days, the Netherlands government surrendered to the Nazis, who captured the surviving D.XXIs. None survived the war in flyable condition. But this did not deter Jack, a Dutch aviation engineer and warbird pilot who grew up listening to the story of Holland's heroic fighter pilots and their plane.
It was more or less a boy's dream, you can name it that. When I was 14 years, I found a couple of drawings, for instance this one. So I collected over more than 40 years. Most of the drawings, the complete package was 413, and I had at the end 397, almost all of them.
At the same time, Jack was scouring Europe for original parts, especially in Scandinavia, where the Finns used Fokkers to repel a Russian invasion in 1939.
That's, the wheels are genuine with the brake system, and then the strut inside this leg actually is a genuine strut. I got that from Denmark. The engine is used in Finland and in Spain, and it was a genuine engine for the D.XXI by Fokker. This lightning is a genuine one, small pieces. We have all the instruments are genuine with Dutch inscriptions.
Some parts were even salvaged from crashed planes shot down during the war.
Then we have over there a little grip that came out of the ground. And it's a genuine D.XXI one, it's a very small piece. The seat is a genuine seat. We rebuilt that and used a lot of parts from a scrap seat. Yeah, it's special, yeah. More or less part of my life. And this number 32 aircraft that I restored in the past. I restored Spitfires. I flew almost all the warbirds. And I did a lot of biplanes. And this is the top of the bill.
Jack's entire family was drafted into Grandpa's passion project.
Some kids from our neighborhood, they playing with bicycles and steps and stuff. But I did on Saturday, I played with aircrafts.
How I come in this? There's only one word for that. That's called Grandpa. The first day I came to this airfield here in Hogeveen, I got a hammer, some rivets, and then as a boy of 4 years old, Grandpa learned me how to rivet the skin on the ribs of the aircraft wing. So yeah, that was my first experience in the world of historical aviation and also the aviation techniques.
Along with 23 engineers, his family have been an integral part of the build.
And if I didn't have that support, I couldn't have made it.
The build began in 2014. It was very important right from the beginning that all the parts were original or re-engineered from original drawings.
My intention was build it as it was when they thought about it in the May days of 1940. If I would build them, I would build it as genuine as possible.
We then just finished our Fairchild PT-26 project. I was 11 years old. And then Grandpa said, are we going to do another project together? And I asked him what kind of project. And he said a Fokker D.XXI.
So Jack and grandson Tom started on the two main parts that they hadn't been able to find: the tubular framed fuselage and the wing. Its ingenious construction is a complex wooden sandwich of glued layers of timber that would have defeated many engineers, but Jack found a 1930s vintage model.
It's a section of the wing built by Fokker, and we found it in the museum and they didn't know what it was. So I took it with me. The total beam is 11 meters from one tip to the other. So, and there's one piece. So it's not a split wing or something like that, it's one piece. And it's a little bit bent in the middle. So you have to make it on a mold. This, for instance, if the tree grows from bottom to top in this side, then the other one is to that side. And that's the trick. For then you get a box from the back spar to the rear spar, and it's very, very stiff. And they tested it on the tip and on the middle, and put a load on of 17 tons. And it bent about, at the end, about maybe 30 centimeters. And I thought it breaks. But then they took all the weight off and came back, nothing. The construction of the wing and the tubular and the metal parts took us about 3 years, 3.5 years. And then in the meantime we overhauled all small bits and pieces and assembled it.
Jack's dream is nearly a reality. He got permission from the Dutch government to build the plane in 2012. 10 years later, Jack's son, Jack Jr., is leading the team in an engine and ground run. A vital step in the journey to certification, but the stakes are high. The 850 horsepower Wright Cyclone engine was among the most advanced in the world when the D.XXI was built. But it's temperamental, and its carburetor, which must pump a gallon of petrol every minute into the cylinders, is very hard to adjust.
Prop clear.
Finally, the engine bursts into life. But it's clear all is not well. The banging sound comes from one cylinder failing to fire properly. Jack is adjusting the mixture of fuel and air entering the cylinders, but he must be careful not to overheat the engine. He has no choice but to shut down the engine.
Cilinderkoptemperatuur is 150. Dat ligt er op cilinder 2 dus niet goed is.
Ja, Wingy, hoe warm is het nu?
Hij is 60 graden, maar hij begint ontiegelijk te houden en te paffen, hè? Ja. Onderin. Laat hem nog heel even lopen, dan heb je met een spoor. Ja. En dan langzaam lopen.
Ja, start hem nog een keer op, man.
Hey, als hij gaat beginnen plaffen, zet hem stop.
Is goed.
The problem is in just one of the cylinders, but they need to confirm which one of 9.
They're thinking that cylinder number 2 is leaking at a valve, or the inlet valve, or the exhaust valve. So we're going to check it now, and there is a tick in the cylinder, and we want to know if it is cylinder number 2 or where the tick is located.
Diagnosing that involves a medical instrument. Hans is going to use a stethoscope to listen for the telltale tapping sound made by a stuck inlet valve. And in just a few minutes, he's traced the fault.
Just listen to the heart of the engine. What a doctor also does, stethoscope. So I'll just check the valves and cylinder for running inside. So only cylinder number 2 is not functioning properly. So yeah, it's. I think we have to take it off.
For the team, it's back to the workshop. The D.XXI's long-awaited flight is delayed. On a windswept airfield in the Netherlands, the sight of a Fokker 21 fighter moving under its own power for the first time since the 1940s is about to become reality.
I need to do and look for it is temperatures. The temperature will very quick, very high. To cool down the engine, we can a little bit taxi runs to do that, so that's also in the schedule.
The team are optimistic they've overcome teething troubles with the right cyclone engine.
When you stop it, the oil inside the engine drops off to the bottom cylinders. And if it fills too much, then you have, they call it a hydraulic lock. You can't press oil together. So if you should start it up and there is too much oil, you blow the head off.
So the crankshaft has to be turned twice to drain off the excess oil before the engine is fired up.
So you can expect a lot of smoke, and it's not burning, don't panic. Maybe during the start, if it has a lean mixture, flames come out on the top and maybe at the exhaust.
Today they're going to alter the angle of the propeller blades for the first time.
Is the prop clear?
Prop clear.
The variable pitch prop gave the D.XXI its lightning-fast climb speed. But if it's mishandled, the prop can overload and damage the engine.
Oil pressure is okay, fuel pressure is okay, cylinder cap temperature is also okay.
Still wheel moving.
Jack must be very careful handling the skittish D.XXI on the ground.
Handling is fine at this moment. Still is lock and lock position.
One mistake, and 10 years of work could be reduced to wreckage.
Cylinder temperature is 150 degrees, so that's nice. Very good. It's handling very nice. Direct on the controls.
What I would slow one, what I do is controllability. If I can stop it with my brakes and everything, brakes are very. Be careful with this aircraft with brakes because it's nose heavy and it will direct on its nose. So we check that in the low speed.
Back on the runway, Jack is taking the plane close to takeoff speed.
It's handling nice.
On the outside, it did look beautiful.
The high runs, we will check if the aircraft is still controllable and easy controllable to do on a runway, that we can have a straight line.
Okay, we will end the test run.
Okay, end of test run. Yeah. Very nice, uneventful test run.
Okay, engine is still.
Handling on the ground, okay. Yeah. Throttle setting is okay. Prop swiveling is okay. I think that we need to look for the seal, prop seal, and we have a lot of oil on the front.
Yeah, there came a lot of oil out of the exhaust.
Okay, that's then the problem.
Yeah. But we have a check on the propeller.
Yeah, check on the propeller and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm satisfied.
Yeah. Top. You can see it on the ground over here. At least a pint of oil.
The final taxi test has gone well. The D.XXI is almost ready to fly. It was in the First World War, 20 years before the D.XXI was built, that Dutch plane designer Anthony Fokker made his name, creating the planes that made the Red Baron a hero and cost the lives of many of his Allied opponents.
The aerodynamics of this aeroplane, okay, are far superior to any of the British stuff. For a start, it didn't need wire bracing, didn't have the same drag as they did. They're very clean designs, very clean. This, you could slow it down and made it and it was much more maneuverable. They'd be tearing around like lunatics, you could be inside them, out-turning people.
Veteran engineer Jerry Cooper is one of the UK's leading Fokker experts, and he's building two of the company's World War I fighters in his Lincolnshire workshop.
This is a Fokker D.XXI from 1917, basically. Well, this is a very strong tubular structure, and as you can see, it's all welded, so it's very quick to put together. Well, in Britain at the time, they were slower on the build because of the amount of work they had to do to prepare it. He was quite prepared to work for the Brits. Or for the Allies, or French and the Brits.
But Fokker's offer to build planes for the Royal Flying Corps was rejected, and he went to work for the Germans instead.
So they said, yeah, come on in.
Creating cutting-edge combat planes like the triplane that made Baron von Richthofen the most famous ace.
Is the Red Knight of Germany. He has shot down 81 planes
His revolutionary wing designs gave Fokker pilots the edge in combat. But after the war, he went on to revolutionize the air transport business, building globe-shrinking passenger planes for the new national airline, KLM.
Back in the 20s, Fokker was the largest aircraft manufacturer in the world. So yeah, he for the Netherlands, he did quite some good things.
The Dutch National Aviation Museum is a shrine to his designs.
He belongs to the industrial heart of our nation. Nowadays, is now still a great company within the Netherlands for the aviation sector.
Some of Anthony Fokker's designs, like the F-7, could reach Southeast Asia, launching the first timetabled long-distance air routes.
Fokker F-7, the Southern Cross, flew in Australia, and it was also the Fokker F-7, which was the first aircraft which got from Amsterdam to Batavia in Indonesia in 80 days or something. So yeah, quite historically aircraft.
At the same time, his company was building conventional biplanes for the Dutch armed forces. Then came the D.XXI. Until now, it's just been a model in the museum. And at one point in the restoration, it looked like that would remain the case. In 2014, the project was stalled by an unanswered question.
Most challenging area of the rebuild was actually the attachment from the wings to the fuselage. We had no drawing of that.
Well, we didn't have anything about it, not a sketch. And if we didn't found it, then it had to be a new design. How the authorities think, it's a new designed aircraft, it's not a genuine Fokker anymore. The wooden parts were that critical that if I didn't have found it, there was no D.XXI.
But, by a stroke of luck, the family discovered that the wreckage of a D.XXI shot down in 1940 had been found by historian and crash investigator Jan Springveld.
Luckily for him, we did recover this plane, the wreckage of it in 1993, and those particular items he was looking for was part of our wreckage. And the main part of that was the clamps which hold the wing of the plane to the fuselage.
And it were exactly the wood blocks we needed, so we copied them. And from that, via back engineering, made a new drawing and made it into this wing. And the authority accepted it.
The discovery is the reason behind the family's aircraft being designated 229 as a tribute to the crashed D.XXI and its pilot.
And it's more an honor. It's yeah, actually a reborn. That's how I feel it.
Sergeant Koos Roos was the pilot that day, and in being shot down, he accidentally chalked up one of the war's most bizarre victories over a German fighter.
The 1010 was flying behind the 229er, and he shot the 229er, and Koos was thinking of jumping out of the aircraft and use his parachute. So if you want to spring out of the D.XXI, you have to pull on some handles and then the canopy will come off. So he did that when the Messerschmitt was behind him, and he dropped his canopy off, and the canopy came and forced into the engine of the Messerschmitt behind him, and that's the reason why the Messerschmitt came down. So he shot down two, but he shot down one with his guns and one with his canopy.
Now Sergeant Pilot Koos Roos's plane is almost ready to take off again, but its first flight will be a difficult, potentially dangerous challenge. The Van Eggmands are keen for the story of Holland's heroic stand against the Nazis to be better known. So they want the plane ready for the European airshow season, especially the major displays at Duxford in Cambridgeshire.
Got it.
The man who can get it there is British test pilot Dan Griffith.
I think that's probably good enough. Do you feel comfortable? Yeah. Yeah.
He holds the record for testing the biggest number of different aircraft types. Many, like this home-built plane, completely new and untried.
Okay, full power, speed's indicating.
My job is to look at them, make sure they're safe, go to the edges of the boundaries and make sure there's nothing untoward there, really.
The plane is made from modern composites and was designed on a computer.
Okay, so that's about 115. Let's feel what the turning's like. Okay, that's all very nice.
But in many ways, the D.XXI is just as big a challenge.
There isn't really anybody still alive that can tell me anything about the Fokker. It's completely new, and when I get in it, I'm afraid it's going to be trial and error and see how it goes.
The only clue to flying the D.XXI is the vintage servicing guide, which Tom has ready waiting for Dan.
So I've got here the original handbook written by Fokker in 1936. And there are many things written in here which are quite important. Assembly methods, maintenance methods such as lubricating the landing gear.
The handbook also contains pilot's notes and details of the original test procedures which Fokker used on the D.XXI prototypes.
Exactly that procedure we are using for the test flying of the D.XXI. When something isn't quite good in those tests, then we have some feedback from the tests we can use to adjust the aircraft a little bit until it does work properly.
The D.XXI was one of the Dutch military's most advanced weapons when the Germans invaded the Netherlands. Convinced Hitler would recognise Holland's neutral status, the government had starved its generals of money and weapons. At dawn on May the 10th, only a handful of fighter pilots were waiting for the invaders. Today, all but one are dead. Their stories now preserved only by a fading film.
Het enige was, we hadden niet genoeg bewapening, niet zwaar genoeg en we waren langzamer.
Ja, langzamer. En wij hadden dus een vastlandingsgestel.
Andere patriotten ontsnapten in kleine vissersboten.
But defeat wasn't the end for some of Holland's brave few. Many airmen escaped to Britain to fly with the RAF, hijacking small boats or even stealing their own planes. This rare archive film was made to celebrate their part in the battle to free their country.
They are bringing this tenacity that has come from having to defend your homeland so fiercely. I mean, the RAF has had the experience of the Battle of Britain. It knows about defending its own, but the Dutch have had to go through it and have that loss as well. So really, they've got nothing left to lose. But also, they've had to show incredible bravery and courage even to get to Britain.
Many risked their lives or a concentration camp to make the crossing. Retired fighter pilot Jan van Arkel's father was one of the new recruits.
I can imagine how you do that. I mean, you're young, you don't give a you do it. That's something else.
In Britain, the Dutch pilots were recruited to a special RAF squadron, number 322. In defiance of official secrecy, one of its pilots, Frans van Eyck, is allowed to film the squadron's war, even shooting at the same time as flying his Spitfire. The result was this incredible archive footage rarely seen until now. It's 1943 and the unit is taking delivery of its first mascot, a grey parrot christened Polly Grey. It became the symbol on the unit's official crest with its motto, "Don't talk, act." Flying Spitfires, its pilots carried on where the Fokkers had left off. And over 2 grim years, they helped liberate France and finally their homeland. 80 years on, 322 Squadron is still in action, but now as part of the Royal Netherlands Air Force. It flies state-of-the-art F-35 jets. Its wartime traditions live on. Today, 2 of its former members, Jan van Arkel and his former wingman, Frank Svinkels, are arriving at the Leeuwarden Air Base to show for the first time serving airmen and women the archive film of their unit at war.
These images are amazing.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's a unique and largely unseen treasure house of military life.
Not very different from the setting outside here.
No. Nice to see that the people, the pilots who were there as well, and even the mechanics, about the same as now. It's just joking about and bull and of course working on bikes instead of on their aircraft.
One of today's engineers is officially designated to look after the squadron's latest parrot, its fifth.
That's the first Polly. Later on in the film you'll see that they went to a zoo and they also chose a monkey instead of Polly, but they finally decided on Polly.
Oh, yeah?
I've never met the one I've seen on there, but I think she swears as much.
Flight Lieutenant Van Eyck filmed his fellow pilots at work and play around their base in Lancashire.
I thought that this footage was absolutely fascinating to watch because it gives this real intimate human aspect to the Dutch fighter pilots. So it was really fascinating to see, you know, their hijinks, where a couple relieving themselves before missions. Well, a bit too intimate in parts. But really it's a fascinating find because we're not just getting operational life for 322 Squadron, we're also getting, you know, joy, grief, we're getting laughter, we're getting sacrifice because of the fact that we're seeing marriages and funerals, the real sort of peaks and troughs of life.
Two of the stars of this footage are familiar faces for Jan.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
it's my father and mother together.
That's amazing.
And there's a nice story about the car. They went out the night before drinking beer, the guys only, of course, and they wrecked the car on one side. So it had to be parked with the good side towards the church. And the other side was fixed with shoe polish and that kind of stuff. They worked all night to sort of make it presentable.
Like Jan's father, many pilots met and married British women, and Van Eyck had a documentary maker's eye for capturing wartime life and love, even recording the morning after his friend's wedding night in a local pub.
It's my dad. Looking out the window, I suppose my mother is in there somewhere, but no hard proof of it.
We are seeing women in the traditional roles of the time. They're becoming wives of the fighter pilots and this sort of thing. But we're also seeing WAF personnel that are attending. We're seeing ATA girls as well that have been transporting aircraft, ferrying aircraft. And it also shows just how intertwined their lives are with the operational life of 322 Squadron.
But life was often harsh for the aircrew, frequently moving bases and flying dangerous daily missions into occupied Europe.
They were very annoyed with the Dutch Ministry in Defense in London because they never got decent housing on the airfields. Most of the times they were in tents.
That amazes me that they have to build their own tents. I mean, they probably had time to do it, but still.
Training was rudimentary, clay pigeon shooting for marksmanship. And
that's all. They said you aim there while the enemy is there, but how much? Yeah, there's a gut feeling, getting close.
Today, much of the squadron's weapons are highly secret, and the current operations commander is known only by his call sign, Hyper. He's just landed after a mission.
It is amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Never seen this before.
Might sound weird, but it's already amazing to me that it's in color back in the day. Right, because back in the day, I guess it was pretty expensive to be able to film to begin with.
In 1945, the Dutch royal family in exile were frequent visitors to the squadron.
Wilhelmina, yeah, that's the queen.
It's really fascinating to watch the Dutch royal family as well. This is royal history in this footage. It's not just military, it's not just political. And so as a result, we're also looking at that more intimate side. You know, we're seeing Juliana sharing a cigarette with the squadron. We're seeing Prince Bernhard is also appearing and he's trying to boost their morale and making sure that they show their fighter pilots that they're also in the fight.
Prince Bernhard, consort to the Netherlands' future queen Juliana, played a major role in setting up 322 and sometimes flew its Spitfires.
Prince Bernhard was, I think, one of our saints or saviors. And that's why you also see we always have a fresh beer for the Prince in heaven over there at one of our old bars from the old squadron, where he used to come over every now and then. But we definitely want to keep the tradition alive as him being our our founding father, pretty much.
But tragedy was never far away. Van Eyck filmed a fellow pilot's funeral at a country church near their base in Kent. He was to die in 1945, shot down over Germany, and one of the squadron's most celebrated pilots simply vanished after his Spitfire was seen to dive into the ground in France.
It's the first time that I've seen Plesman in colour, so that's good. He's still missing, as you know, and we are still searching for him in northern France. So.
Fokker pilot Jan Plesman was Van Eyck's cousin and an ace with several victories to his name. He cycled from Holland across occupied France to Spain to join the RAF.
His father was the founder of KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines. Yeah, so his name is very special all over the world. Yeah, he was shot down September the 1st, 44. His father did one search in 46 at the wrong location, and that's it. So he's still in the Spitfire, that's a fact, yeah.
In the age of guided missiles and stealth technology, 322 is now part of NATO's air defence front line.
42, fully correct. Report next turning point, please.
But in between missions, the squadron is still searching for Plesman, its lost ace, supporting several expeditions to France to find the wreckage of his Spitfire. And some members find time after their shifts to help out on the D.XXI. Men like Evert Jan, an F-35 crew chief.
So it was like 2 years ago, I guess, that I visited on a Saturday here for the first time. And Jack had me do like minor stuff just to see what kind of mechanic I am. And basically I had to build trust and now he lets me do pretty much everything. So that's good, yeah. It would make me so proud. I think I'm gonna smile all day long. Yeah, just to see this flying. It's a piece of our history. It's done some fighting for us and it just makes me proud as a Dutchman.
That flight is only days away. 80 years after its finest hour, the world's only surviving Fokker D.XXI is almost ready for its first test flight.
Safety wire keeps the aircraft together.
And the family have an urgent deadline to meet. It's meant long hours and sleepless nights.
We got the test pilot, Dan Griffiths, coming tomorrow. We did some test runs. They were satisfied, but we may have to change some bits. We've got a fuel leakage, a small fuel leakage, so we did that also. But yeah, the deadline is there. So Dan is coming and hopefully he will fly tomorrow.
For my grandpa, he has worked on it for 40 years, collected for 35 years, and yeah. For him, it's a dream coming true. For us, it is, as a family, the D.XXI binds us together. And for me, the D.XXI has created a link, an emotional link between me and Grandpa.
Eraf draaien. Dus hier zit een moertje op, dan is er al af. So it's a family project. And that's emotional. Yeah, how can I express it? It's an art of ending my story. That's actually what it is.
Roger, Paul, final.
Dan Griffiths has arrived to carry out the first test flight.
Welcome on the blood dirty border.
Excellent.
How are you?
Brilliant.
Yeah?
How are you?
Fine.
Great to see you, great to see you.
He and Jack are old friends, but it's been a long time.
So you're looking good?
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, 27 years ago, eh?
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
27 years ago.
Got a little bit grey.
Little bit grey.
Little bit grey. It's a real aircraft.
That is very nice, isn't it? You can adjust the seat if you like.
Yeah, Jack is showing now the cockpit and etc. And then he gets a briefing, and then yeah, what he decides, what he wants to do. That's it. I don't decide for him. He makes the plan himself.
Well, I think what I'd like to do is just go up to about 3,000 feet, do a couple of stalls, and then bring it back.
Yeah.
And then we have a think if the engine's all good.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah, quite right as well.
Only one in the world, eh?
Yeah.
So that other one to add to your list.
Yeah.
It's that significant. If we succeed today, then we got the final paperwork from the authority. And then the aircraft is free to go. We can use it for training, we can use it for air shows, whatever we like.
Dan is relying on 40 years of experience to safely see him through this flight.
Ah, that one, yeah.
The Fokker dates back to a time when it was common for aircraft to have unpredictable handling flaws, ready to trap and kill unwary pilots.
Okay.
Vane 229, radio check. Commander, you 5 go ahead. Roger, just started up shortly to taxi.
With 800 horsepower turning the large propeller, Dan must take care to prevent its torque pulling the plane off the runway.
I'm feeling fine, but very nervous.
A little bit excited.
Nervous?
Nervous.
Very nervous. 229 ready for departure. Roger, the winds are light and variable. 229.
Nice to see.
Dan is the first test pilot to explore the D.XXI's handling in 75 years. That's how long it is since the last export models were retired by the Finnish Air Force.
He's now at 3,000 feet up.
Slowly, Dan's reducing the plane's speed until it stalls. It's a maneuver not without risk. But the Fokker passes its first test with flying colours.
And 229 positioning downwind to land.
It's time to return to the ground, but the family want more.
Then when you're happy, can you make a low pass? Yes, we can do. The engine's a little bit rough at the moment.
Okay, only when you are happy.
Yet it's clear the Fokker's engine problems haven't been solved entirely.
And 229 turning in for low pass.
She is the fastest aeroplane here at Oegeveen.
229 turning final for the option. Roger, 229.
I think it is one of the most historical moments in Dutch aviation history. Because, yeah, it was 82 years ago Fokker flew those aircraft and the men and women which flew them in the war. Yeah, I think very extraordinary. Very extraordinary.
The Fokker D.XXI is perhaps not seen as shiny and alluring as, say, a Spitfire, but at the same time, you know, they really achieved amazing things against completely insurmountable odds.
It's just an honour and a privilege. When I fly, very often I get hairs on the back of my head stand up because you think, what was this symbolising, and what happened with these aeroplanes is amazing. So yes, it is thoroughly exciting for me as well as the guys.
Marvelous. I don't have another word. It's more than marvelous. It's better than the best wine.
As you say, running very rough. I got the lever quite a bit back. I didn't know how much to bring it back on my first one, really.
Yeah.
But it's still running rich. And on finals, it was, you could see, as soon as I tried to pick up, you're getting pop, 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 pop. But it's how much to take the rich mixture off. The last thing I wanted was, ooh.
Diet.
Oh, now that's better. It's nice and quiet now. But the actual aeroplane flies nicely. Takeoff and landing is all beautiful, isn't it? I mean, that's all easy. It's just trying to get this engine, I think, to be less rich.
For the Van Eggmands, it's back to the workshop. Next year, it's hoped their unique fighter will appear at its first air displays, a fitting tribute to Holland's forgotten few.
I'm a pretty cool guy, so emotionally I think I'm crying. And yeah, it's one in a lifetime that you see a Dutch fighter aircraft flying. And then for the first time being there, that's quite a lot.
All the things that are coming together, and all the things I now know about the aviation industry, I don't think I've learned that at school. The only word for that is, again, Grandpa.
All we've got to do is sort that little bit of mixture out and it'll be nice.
Yeah. He's a man of his words, and he did it. He did it. He did it for 40 years, and he's an inspiration for me.
When I was younger, I could arm wrestle with 2 younger guys, and they won the game. And now, half a guy, more than enough. Then I lose. Then I lose.